Hello and welcome to RetroSlot episode 29. I think.
Yeah, that is correct.
That is correct. This week we're going to be talking about Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Although I think me and Jay both played it on the Switch. I think because it's just so convenient. We got some retro news to talk about. We'll talk about next week's pick, and Jay's got some pickups as well. I've also I'm gonna be at an event next weekend. So if you guys are in Connecticut at the Retro World Expo, I'll be there walking around. There's gonna be a lot going on there, so hopefully I'll see you there. Jay, how you been, man?
Nice.
Oh, and we're gonna do the giveaway.
Yeah, we'll do the giveaway towards the end. We'll announce the winner and Analog Pocket. So I've been good. I mean, it's been a short week.
It sure has. It's good to see you 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, right. I wish that I had more time. Yeah, it's fine. I wish I had more time with Super Metroid, to be honest. I got like 2 to 3 hours in. You know, normally I play during the weekends, but it was Halloween and kids and all sorts of stuff, and trying to get some semblance of sleep. So unfortunately, I didn't get more time with that. So people were like, "You're not going to be able to. It's not enough time." I was like, I mean, I'm not trying to beat every game we play, but I feel like I got a good sense of stuff. Yeah, no, I wish
it'd be awesome.
This game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we could. It's tough, man. Life is tough. Adulting's tough. I wish we had the amount of time to play stuff we did as a kid. That's
if we picked like a game a month, I think that would be a reasonable expectation.
Right.
I think we finish a lot of the games because we have 2 weeks to do it. But even then, it's like sometimes life just gets in your way. You know, like you'd think 2 weeks is enough to beat about any retro game. You know, it's not like we're picking RPGs that are like 800 hours.
Yeah.
But it's just hard sometimes. You know, it's like it's hard to fit it in.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because you think about when you're younger and you don't have the money to buy the shit you want, but you have all the time in the world. And as an adult, it's the opposite. It's like, okay, well, I can buy games if I really want them, but I have zero time to play them, even though I literally play video games for a living. Like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have enough time to play games, y'all. Even though
that irony is not lost on me either.
Poor Jay with his 40 hours a week to play video games. Imagine.
Do you have like separate game time for just yourself? Do you ever just play games just for yourself?
Rarely.
Yeah.
And that's because, like, you know, it's not that I dislike streaming or dislike playing games on stream. It's just after playing games that much as a quote unquote job.
Yeah.
When I'm not streaming, I literally just want to not do anything. I just want to like chill and relax or sleep or watch a show or a movie, or, you know, I don't want to feel required to play more games. Like, you know, I'll do things here and there.
This is the danger of monetizing a hobby.
Yeah.
Right? Is that it no longer is a hobby. You have created a job out of something that you used to just get pleasure from.
Right.
And it can be dangerous.
Complaining, but yeah.
No, it sounds like you're complaining. I'm going to be honest. I'm a fucking huge bitch about this.
Wow. Wow, JSniperton, the complainer, imagine.
No, it's a problem. I think it's why I don't stream as much as I used to. I used to stream, you know, every day. And I found that I was no longer getting joy out of just playing video games. It became a job of playing video games. And I also was having health issues, like just from sitting still for so long, for such long stretches of times, I was having health issues. So I stopped streaming pretty much.
But you're on like what, 3 podcasts? So
yeah.
There you go. Busy.
I'm not saying I've turned my life around. Look, I'm just gonna drink this beer and
what kind of beer are you drinking?
Drink the pain away. 2 Roads, a Road to Ruin double IPA, brewed in Connecticut, I believe New Haven, Connecticut.
What, 8% or something? 7.8 or something?
It is. It's 8% on the nose.
I know my beer, but yeah, I haven't drank much in the last year, really, at all.
I tend to try and stay away from the high alcohol beers like this one because I like to drink beers, not beer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm better served by a low alcohol percentage so I can have 3 beers instead of like being stumbling drunk, right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
I don't know. When I was a kid, we just drank. All we did was drank like 30 packs of
Yeah. Bush Light.
cheap beer, whatever the cheapest beer we could find was.
30 bomb for $9.99 at the local grocery store, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
And you'd fill up a grocery cart with them.
Oh man, that stuff it's awful. It's so bad.
Yeah. Anyhow, anything else going on this week that we should go, or should we just jump into the news this week? Should we just make it a quick jump?
I'm just thinking. I mean, how far did you end up getting on Super Metroid this playthrough?
On this playthrough, I beat Ridley.
Oh.
I just am after Ridley. Spoiler: Ridley's in this game.
So how far into the game is that? How far into the game is that?
I probably have like an hour until I get to Mother Brain.
Okay, so you're pretty far.
Pretty far, yeah. But like I've mentioned before on the show, I beat this game to completion, not to completion. I beat this game last year in 2020 on the Switch, so it was kind of still familiar in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk more about Metroid when Metroid talk comes.
True.
Because I had just finished it, it was a lot easier for me to bomb through it quite quickly.
Yeah, makes sense. Remember some of the stuff.
Yeah.
We can jump into the news. There's not a ton actually. Like it looks like you put a couple of things on there. I was like scrounging for some stuff. There's a couple of things I was like, I don't know if that's really worth talking about, other than it just being an announcement of stuff being released and things, but I found some stuff that were worth, I think, talking about things.
Yeah.
There's an unreleased Dune game that was like pretty much fully developed that is getting revived. However, they have to change the name because may not have gotten the full rights from like the original license
Yeah,
holders.
that makes sense.
So it's called Elend the Crystal Wars, and I think they were developing it for the GBA.
Okay.
And so this is going to be coming out from what is it? What's the developer? Retro Room Games is reviving, and so I don't think you can pre-order it yet. But they're going to be reviving it, and there's like some video on it. Dune, what does it say on Twitter or YouTube? Wow. Dune Ornithopter Assault. And I wonder why it was canceled. And it's like a three Ornithopter. I don't know what that means. Anybody on Twitter, let me know. But it looks kind of like an RPG shooter where you're in a spaceship and you're shooting, but there's also some like story stuff on the ground and whatnot. There's a lot of sand in this game.
Yeah, well, it's Dune.
Have you seen the movie? Did you watch
Which
it?
one? The new one?
The new one.
Yeah, the new one was fantastic. Like I thought it was. I was blown away visually. Like I just thought it was like the art direction and the cinematography was fantastic. But also I was way into the story and I got so into it. I was literally on the edge of my seat on the couch, like leaning forward into the movie.
Really?
And my Apple Watch, which I'm not wearing now, actually alerted me that my heart rate was above average. I was like, oh my God, I must be really into it. I've never had that happen while I was watching a movie before. But my Apple Watch is like, hey, yo, your heart rate just went up and you're just sitting here. I'm like, well, this is a good movie. Buzz off, Apple.
Amazing. Yeah, buzz off. I honestly never like read the book or saw the original movie or anything like that. So I was super fresh coming into the movie, and I was really impressed at the pacing of the storytelling and the way that they were setting up setting up the characters and really giving us a reason to care about them. Cause I imagine this is going to be a series of movies.
It would
And I
appear so.
often dislike when they just jump into action and people are getting killed. And I'm like, I don't care about that character. Like I have no, interest in what their future holds and stuff. And this is almost like, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it, but it's almost like like an Anakin style, it feels that way of like creating this character that you care about. So like whatever happens in the future, I imagine there's gonna be some shit going down. You actually have some thought behind it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they
I
introduced the
enjoyed it.
characters really well. It got into the action, I think, fast enough that I felt like it moved along at a good pace. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Me
Two
and
and a
my
half
wife were
hours went
watching it.
by like that. It did not feel like a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah. And that is not a franchise that has been done good on film before. That old
No.
movie sucks. Like I went back
Isn't it
and
from
watched it again just to like, how bad is this movie?
Oh,
Like,
no.
is it as bad as I remember? I'm like, yeah, it's as bad as I remember. And
When did
then
that come out?
the 80s, 84 or something like that.
Okay.
And then there was also a mini series that happened in like the early 2000s that I actually remember being decent, but it's been a while. It's been 20 years since that happened, so that might not
Yeah,
be that
right?
good either.
20 years since 2000. That's ridiculous to think about.
Right?
Like, thinking about, like, Firefly and Battlestar Galactica and Lost and all that stuff at that point.
Yeah. This game though doesn't look that interesting to me. I'll be
No, it doesn't.
honest.
I'm like, "Why are they
Um,
reviving this? Just because it's topical with Dune?" People are like, "Dune! Sell it!
mm,
Sand! People love sand now!"
but then they can't even put the dude name on it,
Right.
so that's tough. I kind of added a note to this that I thought it'd be interesting if you've never heard of Jodorowsky's Doom, which is spelled Jodorowsky. This is a Dune movie concept. I think that was in the 60s or 70s. That's real old. But it's really visually it never got made. It was supposed to be a movie that never got made, but they did a lot of concept art for it. And man, it is super cool looking, like this concept art. And actually if you play the newest Guardians of the Galaxy game, I would guess that they took a lot of inspiration from this art because there's a lot of like similar looking spacefaring craft and cool stuff. So it just reminded me of that Jodorowsky's Dune. There's a great documentary called Jodorowsky's Dune. If you're interested, I think it's available on some stream platform.
Looks like Prime Video for $3.
There you go.
I mean, that's
$3
awesome.
well spent.
Yeah, it got good reviews and yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's
that's
really
awesome.
cool.
Sweet. I'll have to check that out.
Tell me about some Zelda.
So, I've never played Zelda 2 all the way through. I've played it a little bit. It's one of those games as a kid I felt like was a little bit too tough for me at the time, because I was pretty young. But they have a Zelda 2 ROM hack being released that removes a bunch of the old annoying stuff and makes it a little bit more playable. And then they're also adding like more dungeons and new towns to visit, new soundtrack, new overworld, new story, new graphics, like all sorts of stuff. I always wonder how these things can get through licensing or like not get destroyed by Nintendo. But it looks really dope and you can play it on, if you have like an EverDrive or something like that or an emulator, you can play it. It's called Zelda 2 Amida's Curse. It's a brand new
Wow.
Zelda 2 adventure. Yeah. Rebuilt from
There's
the
quite
ground
a
up.
bit new in this.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty awesome.
I've never been able to get into Zelda 2. I know some people really like it, but man, it's really seems like an anomaly in that franchise.
Yeah.
Like the side scrolling stuff, there's experience in that game that you got to like build up Link's experience to power him up. It's just it's not the best looking Zelda game.
Yeah.
Might be the worst. Just not
They
my thing.
removed it.
I've tried a couple of times.
Yeah, they removed like the random stuff in the overworld, when you're going from like place to place, they took the random
Yeah.
encounters out of that. So you're
Oh,
just
really?
basically you're just doing the combat in the 2D areas, I believe. And you can save anywhere. Like this seems like a pretty amazing version of this.
Yeah, this does no grinding necessary. It says enemy rebalancing, no more huge HP pools. Wow. There's 2 more temples and 3 more towns to visit. All right, I'm downloading this. This might be the time I get into Zelda 2. Why not, right?
Took 18 months for them to do this. Focus
Wow.
on the fun aspects of Zelda 2 and leave out the frustrating design choices is what their goal was.
Sounds good. I'm in.
Yeah.
Sold.
I mean, I wish we could pay $10 for this. You know what I mean? Like, I wish we could reward their efforts and hope that people could do it, but there's nothing there, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
when
even
they
know how
can't.
this gets past it.
Well, this is a ROM hack. Yeah, I don't know either, but I don't know really why ROM hacks don't seem to get the Eye of Sauron from Nintendo that other things do.
Probably because 'cause they're not trying to profit from it. It's a passion
I
project, you
think
know?
that is
So,
part of it, right? If you do try and profit from it, you're done.
yeah.
This is cool though. I'm gonna download this for sure.
Yeah,
I'll
dope.
throw it on the Mister and see if I like it, or on the
Yeah, you
on the
play it on the original hardware. Cool.
Pocket.
Yeah. They still haven't got the analog pocket, the stuff they still haven't brought out any more orders. But they didn't
No,
they say that they were gonna just, like, have it up to order at some point?
yeah, but man, come on! Like, look at
They're
supply
gonna
lines
sell out
right
like
now.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, did you
N
get the Steam Deck by the way?
I did only because and I did this with the OLED Switch too, which I'm actually selling to my stepsister who reached out to me and she's like, "Do you know where I could pick up an OLED Switch?" I was like,
Yeah,
"Actually,
I
I
got one
have
for
one and I."
$600. Sis,
No, 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 no. I'm
give you a
selling it to her
special
for what
deal.
I got it. I literally it was just sitting in the box. I'm like, "I don't need it. I just got it because I don't know if I didn't know if I'd want it." But the state of the world right now, I hate it that if there's anything coming out that remotely tickles your interest, like, I'm not sure if I want this or not, you have to pre-order it. You have to. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's gonna get scalped and you're gonna be paying 30 to 50% or double the market price, and it's like, "All right, we'll pre-order it. If I don't want it, I'm sure I can sell it back for what I bought it or something," you know?
yeah,
Um, that's just kinda how it is. So I did pre-order the Steam Deck just because I didn't know, what things were gonna look like. So,
yeah.
what do you know when that's supposed to come out? Next year sometime?
It depends. You gotta look at it when you pre-order because they staggered the pre-orders. They just took as many pre-orders as they could, but they like if you got in right away, then you'll get it late 2021. If you got a little later, early 2022, mid 2022, and so on. Right. So you can go and actually just like Google Steam Deck and it'll tell you
I'll have
when
to
your
look. I'm
pre-order is
pretty sure I
shipping.
got it on the first wave,
Okay,
like
so you should get it
within
early.
the first hour or so, so we'll see.
Watts, mine is going to ship in Q1 2022. Watts actually got one that's going to ship this year, so she's pretty excited about that. But I'm hoping that I can get some emulation on that. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to get some emulation on that.
I
And
mean,
that'd be
it's
a good,
basically a PC, so.
yeah.
Next thing is a little bit smaller of a story, but, with all these new games coming out, there's a new NES game coming out, much like some of the other ones we talk about. It is called Blazing Rangers, and there's a review on Nintendo Life. Actually, they got like imagine like a digital version of this, and they gave it like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
And
Saturn game called Blazing Rangers.
I don't know.
Burning Rangers. My bad.
Burning Rangers. So this is kind of it almost looks like a what are those bubble games where you're like above the bubble thing and you're like shooting it left and right, and it's bouncing off the wall and stuff. It looks like it's from that vantage point, and it's kind of like a puzzle game. I feel like where you have this like hose and you're trying to put out. It looks like a hose, anyways, and you're trying to put out fires and stuff in certain ways, and it almost looks like a mixture of one of those bubble games mixed with Chips Challenge, where you're trying to put out some of the fire to get to doors to unlock secrets, to unlock keys to go into other doors and all that kind of stuff. Um, but it's one of those games that Nintendo Life said it's like it's simple to learn, hard to master, and it's just the game pretty much keeps going until you can't anymore, I think. Uh, where you try to get the highest score you can.
Hmm.
But pretty pleasurable experience, and it is available for pre-order from First Press Games for about $60 USD. It's in euros, so you can get the NES Japanese or European style of the game from them, and it just like you get the box, cart, manual. You know, it looks like a solid package for $60.
Cool.
I don't know how much shipping is, but seemed interesting.
They fuck you on the shipping.
I mean, like if it's shipping from Europe, it's not as bad to ship from Europe to the US, but US to Europe is outrageous.
Yeah.
Minimum of $20 to ship something like this from the US to Europe. Crazy. Any thoughts on it?
No, I've never played the game. I don't know anything about the game. I like that people are making new physical copies of NES games. Like that's a cool thing. I'm not big on pre-ordering every one of them that comes out, though. I kind of want to know what the game's about before I do so. It's nice that there's a review up here. I think that's actually pretty cool that they gave Nintendo Life a chance to review it before it goes up for pre-order. That's legit. But I'm not particularly high on puzzle games myself, so
yeah, makes sense. Next piece of news could be exciting. N64 Goldeneye no longer banned in Germany like 25 years later. So the speculation here, or the story goes that, you know, Germany has a very high censorship type thing. And this is a game back in the day that, you know, Goldeneye is pretty gruesome. It's got like blood, explosions, you know, all sorts of people dying, all sorts of stuff. So it was banned in Germany 25 years ago. However, somebody has probably paid a good chunk of money to get this franchise lifted in Germany. So the speculation is like, is it going to come to expansion pass? Are they reviving it, you know, for a new entity that's coming out maybe on
I
Nintendo? It
heard
just
that there is a 25-year limit to these bans, and that it timed out.
really,
Yeah.
it says this happened before the index expired.
Oh, okay.
25 years. Says unsurprisingly, the timing of this has now led to speculation about the game coming to Nintendo's recently launched Switch online expansion pack service.
That'd be great.
When did that? I mean, it's
When did it
around
come
the
out?
25-year mark, but
Yeah. I
says
can Google it real quick. Goldeneye.
says that it happened before. I think was it 97 when Goldeneye came out. So like pretty close to 25 years, but Sonoma says limited run. Yeah, maybe they're gonna do a limited run
97.
release.
Yeah.
Maybe
Man,
limited
the
runs gonna come out
licensing
with
on that thing has been a mess forever. Like that's why there is. We talked about this on RetroSlot before. That there is a Xbox version of this game, a remastered version of this game that got leaked. You can play it now. You can download it and play it now on an Xbox emulator. But they couldn't release it. They had finished it but couldn't release it because they just couldn't get the licensing through. So whoever does this has to somehow figure out the licensing, and the licensing is a monster in this situation. But it's like everybody has so much money to gain, right? It's like everybody's gonna make out like bandits. If they come out, they come out with a remastered version of Goldeneye, or just Goldeneye. Just put Goldeneye on a monitor console that people can download and play it. They're gonna make so much fucking money.
a lot of people to play online.
Yeah.
Theoretically, does the Switch online stuff with the N64 allow you to play with others on the? Yeah. So I mean, if it's a playable version, you know, with all the N64 stuff on the expansion pass that people are up in arms about, if it's a playable version, that's not awful. Putting that on the expansion pass could, I'm sure, sell more of those for folks to play online.
Yeah.
See,
I'm not getting my hopes up because this game has literally been in licensing hell for 25 years.
Yeah.
Like it was so close to coming out, and Microsoft couldn't even push that through. Although it might have been Nintendo that was holding that one up. I think that's what I heard, is that Nintendo held it up.
Yeah, still interesting. We'll see. We'll see. It ends up happening.
Yeah. There are plenty of ways to kind of play GoldenEye. Like there's a PC version of it that runs pretty good, and you get to use mouse and keyboard, which is far superior than the N64 controller. And there's the Xbox version that you can download and play on an Xbox emulator, and of course you can play on any N64 emulator. And actually, if you play it on an N64 emulator, like you can play it with 4K polygons, you know, up-res to 4K, which looks good. Not that good, but it looks good.
Yeah. Man, I really wish at some point that they normalize up-resing or just at least cleaning up these N64 and PlayStation games. Like, we've got to be close to that, right? Like, it's out there, it exists, but
I mean, it's happening. It's the
not
N64
from
emulator on the
Nintendo,
Switch. Though. Yeah, it's higher res than original on the N64 emulator.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. But you said that they took away the some of the like distance blurring and stuff like that.
Yeah, the emulation isn't perfect.
I should check it out. I should
only
buy the
nerds are
expansion
gonna
pass
care
to check it out. Only nerds are gonna care. It's not 4K. Oh yeah.
The problem with N64, especially up-resing it to higher resolutions, is that you can't do that for the 2D assets in the game. So there's a huge mismatch. Like all the textures are 2D assets. Well, some of the textures are 2D assets, but all of the menu bars and everything are usually 2D assets, and it can look kind of weird.
Yeah, I did notice that when I played Pokemon Snap on the Retro Tink. It was like it looked solid, but yeah, the menus were just not great. Like wow, all the things. You got
Breakers. Do you know this game, Breakers or Breakers Revenge, which is the sequel? They're fighting games that were on the Neo Geo back in the day, and they are very much Street Fighter clones, or as you'd call it now, likes. You know, very, very influenced by Street Fighter. But it's a pretty cool cast of characters, and I've played these games quite a bit on the Mister. Since I got my Mister, it was kind of one of those games I just kind of found. While playing the Neo Geo catalog. These games are actually really fun. I really enjoy them. So they're being released by this company, QB Interactive, in a collection, and they'll be coming out Q1 2022.
For the Switch?
For everything.
Oh.
It's like a wideband release.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm watching this little video here. It does look like it's very influenced by Street Fighter, but there's also combos and stuff, you know, a la like Killer Instinct and whatnot. These look like awesome arcade games, which is probably it says Switch, PS5, PS4, Steam, Xbox.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it got delayed. I think it was supposed to come out this year, but whatever. I just found out about it, and I'm psyched about it now because these are actually really fun games, and I wouldn't mind having these on my Switch. Some of the characters, I think, I forget her name. Kai, maybe? Tia. Tia basically is like a Ryu Ken sort of character. I don't know. It's a really fun game. Both of them are really fun. So I'm glad to see these get re-released because not well known, I don't feel like.
There's a closed beta request form.
Oh.
It's
going to offer online play with GGPO, with rollback netcode.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does say that. Did they announce a price or anything yet?
No. I haven't seen a price.
I'm going to guess between 20 and 30 would be my guess.
I think with the work that they put into the netcode, I would guess more like 30, but yeah. That sounds fair.
I mean, how many games are in there? Breakers and Breakers Revenge? Okay.
Two games. Two games, but they added the netcode, like with the online, like good netcode.
Right. That's dope.
Assuming it's good netcode.
Right.
Which it should be and because it's licensed GGPO.
I wonder if there's crossplay.
I don't know about that. Probably. You would think so.
Yeah. I mean, well, PC against consoles may not be the best on the fighting game.
I mean, for a fighting game? Why?
Somebody use, I mean, like faster input methods. I don't know.
I suppose. Bloodborne. Have you seen this Bloodborne demake?
Oh, a demake? Oh no, they're like retroizing it.
Yeah, they're retroizing Bloodborne to look like a PlayStation 1 game.
Oh no, why? Why would you do that? Of all the consoles.
So everybody's out there saying, bring Bloodborne to the PS5 and PC. Give us a next-gen upgrade on Bloodborne. These dudes are like, yo, what about Bloodborne on PlayStation 1? And I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty good. Like it's stylized in such a way that it actually looks like fun. It won't actually run on a PlayStation 1. I should clarify it. PlayStation 1 graphics was their design inspiration, right? So this is a PC only thing. You're not gonna be able to like burn this to a disc and play it on a PlayStation 1. But if you watch the video for it, if you just Google for Bloodborne PS1 demake, it looks pretty good. Like it's kind of impressive. I like it. I like the look of it.
It kind of looks like a Resident Evil game almost.
I could see that for sure.
I might have a special guest here. Yes, that's for me, bud. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem.
I mean, it looks cool, but like, it's weird that a demake is even a thing. You know, like you said demake. I was like, wait, did you misspeak?
No siree, Bob.
Now I'm thinking like my brain's going crazy. Like, what if they started putting stuff in SNES style or, you know?
Yeah. Well, they've been doing that for years. This is the Halo Atari game. Have you ever seen that? Halo
No.
2600?
No, why?
Yeah.
I guess I have seen like artistic adaptations, but not necessarily playable versions of stuff.
Yeah. I think this is neat. I like Bloodborne an awful lot.
It's
So
cool.
I
It
for
doesn't
some
look
reason,
horrible.
No, it looks in the style of a PlayStation 1 game, but well done.
Yeah. Man, that's a lot of time to do that.
Yeah. Right?
Like, it's not like, you're just porting shit over. It's like a full build.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave it a release date too. It's coming in next month. Or not next month. 1/31/2022. 2 months
Is it
away.
just like do you pay for it? Or is it just like a ROM?
I can't imagine that you're gonna pay for this.
Yeah, I know. Like how. Yeah. So this will be the first Bloodborne PC game.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Totally. Yeah, that's interesting.
You'll probably have a smoother frame rate than actual Bloodborne.
Yeah, right.
It's 24.5 and a half.
Boy.
I thought that was interesting. Let's talk about Super Metroid.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. All right. Go ahead.
I had never played it. Like, okay. As a kid, I probably played it for like 30 minutes until the first point where you get to one of those spots where you have to know where to put a thing, and I didn't, and I stopped playing. Right.
Yeah.
As an adult who's played lots of retro games and modern games, I was able to key in on some of those secrets a little bit more and actually fully like I want to keep playing. So I probably put in 2 to 3 hours. I literally just beat the big lizard, the big fat lizard guy. I was taking a poop and I took the Switch.
Yeah. I
And
think he's got a name, right? Is it Craig or something? I'll Google it while you're
Craig!
talking.
Craig! But yeah, I think I got like what, 5 of the power-ups, 6 of the power-ups. And just was really enjoying my time and want to take more time with it. Like it's incredible as everybody, talks about, right? For those who haven't played it, it is available on the Switch library for those that have online, and otherwise trying to get a cart or complete copy of it, you're looking at stupid amounts of money, really. But the Switch was actually a really solid way to play. I was trying not to use the rewind feature at all, but I did
Mm.
use save states because they spread out the saves a little bit too far. So I'm wondering if my experience wouldn't have been quite as pleasant if I played on the original hardware. Because if you die
It's
from a
not
boss,
too bad. Yeah, that could be a problem.
retrace your steps and stuff.
It's not too bad playing on original hardware because the save states, you remember where they are. So the difference is when you could just use save states is that you just kind of wander on recklessly. But when you have to actually save at the save locations, is you end up knowing where those are and using those almost as a hub for exploration, which I think is a difference in how this game is played in modern days, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. You're like, okay, well, I didn't go up and to the right, so I need to save before I go up there just in case.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. The boss battles are pretty well, like they seem to, they're forecasted a little bit, right? It's like you kind of know when you're about to go to a boss battle, like
Yeah, it's true.
so it's a good time to like, okay, I should probably go back and save, and then you kind of work your way out from the hub of a save room. So I think that helps with the exploration a little bit in that you know where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be like you found a new save room, so now you have to kind of like poke and prod at the edges of your map. But this game has a map, which Metroid didn't, right? And I think that's a huge benefit for this game. Like it makes it way more playable.
Yeah. And you can even like hit start and go and like see an overworld, say like, okay, that's where I went, like that's where I haven't been, all that stuff is pretty awesome. Funny story about the map, they didn't have it completed until a month before the game's release. Like
Wow.
it was a point of contention that they like weren't 100% sure like how they wanted to handle the map. Like they were trying all sorts of different versions of it and they just weren't happy. They like kept having all these new people play the game and like getting information about like what kind of stuff they need to see and all that kind of stuff. So they honestly didn't know. And the whole reason the map is the way that it is, they weren't agreeing. Part of it was they weren't agreeing on like what the map should look like. There was a bunch of
Mhm.
different people with different ideas. They eventually settled on this, but the way that it works too is not super obvious all the time. They were kind of hindered by the like, Super Nintendo hardware. But the reason they kept this in like future games is because of familiarity, right? So like people were familiar with how Super Metroid went, so in other newer like the Game Boy Advance games and stuff like that, they had this map style, but not because they needed to.
Can you
Just
imagine trying to play through this game without that map? Like, to me, the level of fuckery in this
yeah.
game, like, honestly, it gets worse as you go. Like, toward the end, it's like every place you have to go is a hidden block of some sort that you have to blow up with a super bomb or find with your screw attack or, something. Like, there's no obvious ways to go anymore, so it's just about poking and prodding unless you get a walkthrough, which, to be honest with you, I think a walkthrough in this day and age, man, you're gonna be banging your head against the wall without a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many points where there's just no obvious way to go. It's one of the reasons I really liked Metroid Dread was because it got rid of a lot of that. Metroid Dread plays a lot like this game. Like the upgrades are mostly the same. Like a lot about the game is the same, but it really streamlines like how you find your way and like kind of progressing in a Metroidvania game. But man, it's impressive playing this now, like after just having played Metroid Dread, because it's like a literal interpretation of this game, modern day. It's incredible.
That's awesome. I mean, that's why I wanted to play this one first because I hadn't. I will say, as an adult who understands game design a little bit better now, I'm impressed with how they teach you that you have to start looking for these secret things. Like they were using, the little bombs when you go into a ball and you do bombs. Like they were teaching you pretty early on in a one-way street. Like, okay, you're gonna have to start using bombs against walls now. And then
Yeah.
like as you go a little bit further, they kind of take those training wheels away. It's more of an open area, but then you have to like still look for a specific area to drop down. And like getting to that lizard boss, it was really there was like, I don't know, 30 minutes where all it was okay, I'm stuck. I don't know where to go. But on the map, it shows there's a thing below me, and then also I'm on a bridge and there's a very open area and I see enemies down there. I wonder if I can open that up, and you like try different spots and you find it. So if you pay attention to those kind of things, it's kind of obvious. I imagine later in the game it gets more difficult in that way, like they're kind of building you up to being more clever that way. But I was feeling very satisfied that I wasn't frustrated for a long period of time,
Yeah.
at least up until this point. So
Yeah.
I imagine it
Yeah.
gets harder though.
To me, it becomes a little bit of a problem where, I was banging my head against the wall looking for like this one brick, which you know the patterns. Like it's gonna be a brick in the bottom corner of the screen where you roll up to, you plant a bomb, it blows up, and you roll through, or maybe you got to shoot like a a mega missile at, or what are the big missiles called in this game? I forget.
Yeah, the green ones, I don't
The
remember.
green missiles. Like it's gonna be something like that, but it's like there's so many places on the map where you think it could be that it becomes a little bit frustrating, but then you find it and you're like, oh, okay. But then you like within 10 minutes you're like, fuck, I'm stuck again.
Yeah.
And you start having to go through that again. In that way, I find it like I just start going to walkthroughs. Like, okay, I need to like,
Yeah.
I want to make more progress than this in like the 4 hours that I've got to play this game, or the 2 hours I've got to play this game, than just looking for this one block. But what I do like is, the combat feels very fun and satisfying. The animation, I think, is superb. The graphics, I think, are, some of the best for the Super Nintendo. Like, they're just so good. The music is phenomenal. The atmosphere. I think this game does a better job than Metroid Dread in kind of setting an atmosphere. It's like when you're in like the lava land, the whole place feels like lava, right? It's like there's steam, the music feels like different, like everything about that world feels different. And then you move on to like a more like the Forgotten Ship or the Lost Ship, and like the whole thing feels like it's more mechanical, and like there's like beepy boopy music playing. Like the whole thing changes, right, in a way that I feel it sets up atmosphere really, really strong. And you really do start feeling like a badass as you progress your character. Like you start getting all these different weapons and different abilities. You just really feel like a badass. I think this game is really, it still holds up today.
Yeah. I literally just got the fire suit. There was a couple of rooms on
Yeah.
my way to that boss that I went in. It was like, boop, boop. I was like, oh God, get out. Go the other
Yeah.
way, go back. But yeah, beating that boss, you get the fire suit. I had just gotten the high jump and stuff. So yeah, like I love the way that it progresses you through and kind of it kind of slow drips the rooms to you. It's like, okay, you can't go there yet. Okay, remember that, come back later and then look at your map and go back. But I feel like with each game that we're going through, like I'm getting back in that retro mindset a year later, right? Where I'm like really enjoying the frustration, discovery, learning part of the retro games again. And
Mm.
I'm feeling it's almost like a euphoric feeling in a way, to experience these in a new way. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like, man, I wish I could experience Super Metroid for the first time again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I was I watched a little bit of Pat the NAS Punk. They have a podcast as well, the CU podcast, and somebody called in and asked the question, "What's a game that you would like to go back and play for the first time, just to experience that first time love again?"
Yeah.
So, and I imagine this game's on the top of a lot of people's list.
I would think so. Um, when we talked about Metroid Dread on the Side Quest podcast, and I was head over heels. Like I was literally had just finished the game and I was head over heels with it. And I said at that point that I think Metroid Dread is my favorite Metroid game. And then I played more of this for this episode. I'm like, I don't know, maybe not. It's hard to say. They're both fantastic games. Like Super Metroid may hold the test of time. Like it'll be interesting how I feel about Metroid Dread, in 2 years' time, in 5 years'
Right.
time, in 25 years' time, right? Like, this game is still fucking awesome 25 years later. Like, it's still really fun to play. There are some minor annoyances, like, it'd be nice if the map was a little more communicative of, like, where you needed to go, and, like,
Yeah.
maybe if you had missed some secrets. 'Cause there's secrets everywhere here.
Mhm.
And there's, like, sometimes the secret is, like, you've got to use your like super fast run and then super high jump to like rocket like but 3 screens away. It's like it can be really daunting, but man, this is a fun game.
Yeah.
The
And
bosses are so big. They're so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Very almost like God, what would the comparison be? There's a lot of newer games that do that too. Do you remember like Ninja Gaiden for Xbox and stuff with those giant bosses like God
Yeah.
of War, stuff like that,
God of
giant
War,
bosses.
yeah.
Um the funny thing about this game is it came out what, 8 years after the first one?
Yeah.
they had to push and push and push to develop this. Like, the higher ups didn't want it. They weren't Metroid fans. Like, they got threatened to have this project, like, cut short. The budget was cut at some point. The employees, it was like a passion project. They were basically living at the office. There was a room for napping to develop this game. Just crazy, crazy stuff. And then, of course, once it released, like, everybody was like, "Yeah, yeah, awesome, great, good job," you know?
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny.
And then they didn't make another one for
For a long time,
a long
yeah,
time. When did Metroid Fusion come out? That was the fourth one, right?
I believe so. This was
Like
supposed to be the
2002?
last one.
Yeah.
They made this to be the last one, at least in the story and whatnot, because 'cause you're going away, from the planet. It sold better in North America than Japan. Like,
All of them
Japan did
do.
not like.
Metroid is not a big franchise in Japan, although Metroid Dread I heard did good.
Yeah, I imagine now it's more appreciated for sure. What else? Yeah, it was almost canceled 3 times is what some of the notes and developer, like, interviews said. Like, what the heck?
Wow.
Kim Basinger was the inspiration for Samus's look. So when you die and how it's like, "Ah!" She's
Yeah.
like, so the blonde hair, the long blonde hair and stuff. Also, the death, originally, I didn't put this in the notes, but the death when you die, originally, you were gonna be naked,
Oh, really?
but they were like, "Yeah, we should probably change that."
Yeah, wait. Don't we work for Nintendo? Yeah, we can't do
Yeah,
that.
right.
That's not gonna
Yeah.
fly.
Yeah, no. Uh, what a couple of other things. There's a soundtrack album for this that was released in '94 that contains 38 tracks that runs about an hour. I kinda wanna check this out.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Metroid 2 for the Game Boy?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
There's also a remake for it called Samus Returns on the
Oh, yeah, the
3DS,
3DS
which
one.
is fantastic.
Mhm.
I find Metroid 2 to be hard to go back to.
Yeah. How about the remake, though?
The remake was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's made by the same guys who made Metroid Dread.
Yeah. I wonder if Fusion have because I have not played Fusion. I wonder if that's better to go back to than the original. Oh, wait, no. Fusion was a newer game. Zero Mission was the remake.
Zero Mission was the remake of 1.
Correct. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
was like, my
Samus
brain is thinking,
Returns was the remake of 2. Fusion was the 4th game in the series. It's
yeah,
confusing, man, because they've
yeah,
then there's the Prime series, right? And there's another
yeah.
Prime game coming eventually. Prime 4 is like they've been showing, the logo at Nintendo press conferences.
In this story, does Prime come before Fusion?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if the Prime series and the 2D series are on the same timeline or how they interact. But those games are fucking awesome too. The Prime games
Yeah.
are great. Well, I only played the
I
first and second one. I haven't played the third one, but the first two were great.
I should see if I can find like a 4K or a 1080p upres of that because I saw somebody playing like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on PC and it looked incredible. So I'm wondering
Yeah,
if there's a
sure.
remake of the GameCube Metroid games because I've like turned them
Well, they
on and I'm
came
like,
out with the Switch remasters. Not Switch. I'm sorry. The Wii remasters, and they're awesome with the Wiimote.
hmm, how do they look though? Because Wii graphics were kind
Like
of
Wii
rough.
games. Yeah. We maxed out at 480p, right?
Yeah,
Could it get
I
up to
just
1080i? Maybe it could. It
that
couldn't do
first
720, could
person
it?
shooter in low res is hard for me.
Yeah, I hear you.
I should check it out again. I should try to give them another chance. I honestly just did not. I own a couple of them. I think I have Prime 1 and 2, and I don't know, not my favorite thing in the world.
On which on the GameCube?
Yeah.
Now I got to find out what the maximum resolution of the Nintendo Wii was.
Oh, you were talking about
Was
the
it
Metroid Prime
1080i?
trilogy.
Metroid
1080i, yeah.
Prime trilogy, yeah.
I own
Use
that
maximum output
the
resolution
trilogy.
is 480p. Okay, it's 480p.
Oh,
That's fucking crazy. It was
some
that
games
low.
could go up. I think some games could go up to 1080i on the Wii.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the console itself went 1080i.
it can upscale to 720 and 1080p, but the actual games are rendered at 480p.
Yeah, makes sense. I
That's
mean, on a
insane.
tube TV, that's not horrible. Yeah.
Two GameCubes strapped together.
Just wondering if there's any more notes. There was some stuff. There was I had found like a developer interview and they were talking about the development of the game and just kind of how difficult it was and some of the different decisions they were making. It was really interesting. Uh, kind of pulled out the main things, but yeah, somebody was like talking about how smelly the nap room was because that they were always using it. One of the
Wow.
higher ups came in. He's like, "It smells like somebody died in here," just general stuff. That's what the
Well,
development world back then was for stuff,
yeah, it still
just like
is in some
no,
places.
it's crazy.
Yeah. That's a real problem in the development world because there's so many people
Yeah,
who would like to be game developers. It's hard to like bargain,
right.
especially as an
Turn over
entry level
time.
game developer, right? I'd really like to see that industry unionize.
Yeah,
I think it would
same.
be massively beneficial for the people who make games. Because why
I mean,
why wouldn't we want happy game developers?
yeah, consumers are getting more used to the idea of stuff being delayed, so just like, you know, make the development windows longer and take care of your folks.
Maybe they just don't announce it until like when it's gonna be done.
Yeah.
Fuck. We don't need to
They
know about a game that's 4 years away.
Yeah, there's still no update for the new Metroid Prime or Metroid 4. Is it Metroid Prime 4? Is that what it is?
Yes, Metroid
Yeah.
Prime 4. Yeah, it
So,
last I think we heard about it was I don't know, did they show the logo this year? I know they showed the logo last year, like at their we're not at E3, but we're doing a Nintendo event
yeah.
at the same time as E3 kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the last, and all it was a logo. We haven't seen any gameplay footage yet. I think that I heard that the development was taken away from one studio and given to another studio, so that can't be good. But it's not Retro Studios, I don't think, or maybe it was given to Retro Studios, taken away from the other studio. I don't know. It's hard to follow these things.
Yeah. It's crazy. You wouldn't think like we're not used to Nintendo having all this stuff going on.
Yeah, they have said that they have been particularly hard hit by the pandemic too. Like
I
of
imagine.
developers, like their corporate structure and the way they worked was just not compatible with having people work at home.
Hmm.
So
Makes sense. Yeah, all the technology industries for sure like got hit, but I can understand a huge company like Nintendo.
yeah, chat is saying that they mentioned Prime 4, but they really kind of distracted everybody with Metroid Prime or Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread, to me, what I want is a 2D Metroid anyway. Like I was
Yeah.
way more excited to see Metroid Dread than I am about Prime 4. Not that I'm not excited about Prime 4, but like my heart really lies with the 2D. No, just
Yeah.
the kind of idiot I am.
I'm curious how sales for Dread have been.
Very good.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
it's a hard thing, I imagine, from a design perspective. Like, hey, people have been asking for a 2D Metroid for a long time. How do we make this work? Um, because it's a weird thing. It's like obviously the technology can do a lot more. So, what's the compromise here? So I guess Metroid Dread is a good compromise, and they'll probably, if they continue in the future, develop 2D stuff like this. It's a completely different development team than Prime 4, I'm sure. But did they call the Metroid Dread development team R&D1 like they did with
no,
the
it's
old stuff?
outside the developer. It's not even an inside Nintendo developer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Actually, I can't remember the name of the developer, but it's not like an in-house Nintendo. Um,
Interesting.
like
Mercury Steam,
yes,
Spanish developer.
And like a lot of people are hoping that Metroid. I think that's why people got upset about that Kotaku article that kind of was talking about how to play Metroid Dread on a emulator in
Yeah.
4K 60 FPS. Right? Did you hear about that?
Mm.
So the article came out and Kotaku said Metroid Prime can already be played on an emulator, a PC emulator, at 4K 60 FPS, which obviously on a Nintendo Switch game cannot achieve 4K, right?
Right.
The game does play at 60 FPS on Switch. And people got really upset about it. Like, hey, the Kotaku, what the fuck? Like, we want them to make more Metroid games. If you tell everybody that you can just download a ROM of Metroid Dread and play it on your PC at 4K 60, which is better than the Switch can actually do. But I don't really think, I think most people are going to buy the game, right? It's like, I think the amount of people who are going to download a ROM of Metroid Dread and play it on an emulator is pretty low, right? Even if Kotaku does an article about it.
Yeah, they're probably not going to pay the $60 for the cart to begin with.
Right. Right.
I mean,
as opposed to me who played through the game and then said, now I want to play it in 4K.
Yeah. I mean, when I was downloading stuff, I didn't really download games very much because I always felt like they never really worked properly. You couldn't play them online, all that kind of shit. But in college time when I was broke and would download all sorts of MP3s, movies, all kind of stuff,
Yeah.
I would still buy games, and I don't know. I couldn't really afford to buy a whole bunch of stuff anyway. So, but
I didn't
now,
have a
now I
PC
buy
that was
everything.
capable of running an emulator.
Right. There you
Like,
go.
so that wasn't even an option. Maybe an NES emulator.
Yeah.
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 But like pirating like modern games, that is purely like it seems like a modern thing, right?
Yeah. It's a weird weird
I don't know.
world.
I kind of want you to go play Metroid Dread and tell me what you think compared to Super Metroid. I love Super Metroid. I kind of hope that like this series continues, like the 2D style of Metroid games.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to Super Metroid, it was completely worth my time. Like I really felt like this was. It didn't feel retro in the way that this isn't. This is kind of janky and it feels like slow. I thought after playing Metroid Dread that this game would feel really slow, but it didn't. It felt good still. Like it still feels like a good game. You don't feel quite as athletic and as maneuverable as you do in Dread, but it still felt like a great game. And I was worried. I was worried if Metroid Dread would have killed Super Metroid for me.
Right. It took me a minute to realize, like at least an hour of playing before I realized you could run. Because
Yes.
the one time I had to look up some information was I was in a room and there were spikes on the ceiling and you have to like run across. But I like went down below and there's like no way to get through the little, even with a little bomb. Like I was like, I don't understand and I can't go back. I'm stuck in this room. There's got to be a way to get through it. So I looked it up and they're like, actually, you can run if you hold the B button. I'm like, oh, because I knew about the like fast running through the wall thing. So I just figured I didn't
Yeah.
have that yet, but I didn't realize that you could just regular run, and that changed a lot for me. Just like it's really interesting, all that kind of stuff.
That's stuff you would have learned on the way home from the manual from Blockbuster.
Oh,
While your
really?
parents were driving you
Yeah.
home and you're pouring through the manual. Can't wait to get home to play your game.
Speaking of manual, yeah. So whoa, I own 2 copies of this.
Yeah.
Um, and I like alt box art. So the one on top is the one that everybody knows about.
Mm-hmm.
The only for Nintendo with the green and the hand and everything. But this is kind of an interesting version that has the kind of orangish yellow corner
Yeah.
that, and you can see a giant hole like in the box. I don't know, like I've tried to look up information on this one, the one with the orange corner, and it's just an alternate box art, but not a lot of people know about it or if it's significant or anything like that. Um, it's really interesting to me. I don't know, like I don't want to get rid of it because I feel like it might be, you know, kind of sought after at some point. But the story goes, I got this in a lot of games a long time ago. Fully complete. All the insides are super mint. It's got like a hole in the box,
Mhm.
or like a ding, a pretty serious ding. But then I think, I don't know, 3 years ago in my eBay capades, I got a copy of Metroid, Super Metroid and a manual for like $40. And I was gonna flip them. And then I went to the retro store and they happened to have a box. Just the box in minty shape, like better condition than my other one. Just the box for whatever. And I was like, all right, I'll just buy the box and complete that other copy that I have. And then I got home and I realized that the box was different. And I was like, well, I'm keeping it. So now I have like one is fully complete with the poster and mint manual and all that stuff, and the other one's just kind
Does
of
the poster
box
have a map
manual
on
art.
it?
It does not have a
Uh,
map with it. Sadly, no physical map. You would think, but yeah. I think there's also in Europe there's a big box version of Super Metroid, similar to like Mario Paint or whatever, which I thought was dope, and I kind of want to buy it just to have it, but also don't want to buy PAL stuff.
yeah, that could be a problem. I wonder if it runs slower because the PAL games ran at 50 hertz. So in
Yeah.
a lot of cases, they just took the 60 hertz version and slowed it down.
Uh, there wasn't too much slowdown in this game. I did notice it a little bit even on the Switch.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot on the screen. It would kind of, the stereotypical SNES slowdown stuff.
Now I want a
Somebody's
Super Metroid map. There used to be this guy who made awesome like game maps that looked like they were like old and like on like parchment paper. But I lost the name of the guy and I haven't been able to find him. He did like a
hmm,
Castlevania map. I think he did Metroid maps. I gotta find that artist again because they're really cool. Be cool to have like an old Metroid map. Like,
I'm sure there's one in like the Nintendo Power Guide or just in a Nintendo Power. There's probably map because I feel like those old Nintendo Powers did fold out maps.
I don't know how anybody played this game without a map or like some kind of hint. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not the temperament of the person who can play this game without help. Just like bombing every corner until I find the way. There is like a tool that you eventually get that like you can scan walls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you have to like aim it at the specific wall, and it's only like this wide, so it's like
Hmm.
doing this all the way around the screen. It's like it's pretty tedious.
At
I
what
love this
point do you
game,
feel
but
like you
it's
really
got
had to
issues.
start using? At what point do you really feel like you started to have to use a guide?
After I got the, I really could not find Ridley. Like I just couldn't
Mm.
find him. I knew where he was, but I couldn't figure out how to get
Yeah,
to him,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's when I had to, like, I really had to buckle down. That's in my first playthrough. I there were a couple of times where I was just like, after 20 minutes of like just wandering around aimlessly, I was just like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? you know.
Yeah,
And for
yeah,
me, I find that YouTube videos are the easiest way to do it. Like,
yeah, context.
yeah, click on a YouTube video and kind of see where, like, kind of try and get to like where in the video, or if it's named like after the weapon or whatever you're trying to get. Yeah, you want to do some pickups?
Yeah, did you get anything?
No, I ordered Axiom Verge 1 and 2 from Limited Run, but they won't come for another year and a half.
Like, actually, or are you just being
No, that's true. I mean, it takes a long time.
yeah, yeah. So it's like analog. I haven't ordered anything from Limited Run yet, so. I mean, it was a short week, so there's a couple of things on the way,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing that I got, um, because sometimes I'll just buy stuff and I'm like, all right, without an exact plan. So a Switch Lite, and the Switch Lite came with 9 games,
Oh,
and it was in pristine condition. Like
yeah,
there's
that's
like
really good.
no marks or scratches. It came with like the thing on the back. So I was like, well, maybe we'll give this to Theo for Christmas.
Hmm.
Because he's been really getting into Minecraft and stuff, and it's got Minecraft. But I didn't realize this till after. Why? This is a whole different conversation. why doesn't Nintendo have Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Amazon on the Switch? It is mind-boggling to me because this is the perfect media machine for a kid. Like, I don't want to have to take a tablet
Mm.
and a Switch on a trip. That makes no sense to me. And they literally had, I mean, Netflix was on the Wii. Like, so it's not a technology
Yeah,
thing. It's 100% like a profit margin um
it's a good
thing.
question. I don't know. It would be nice if it had that though. It's got YouTube.
Has Hulu and YouTube. Yeah, probably because I don't know. They probably worked out a good deal with them.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
So
messed up.
it came with
Especially
9
now that
games,
you
and I
could use Bluetooth headphones with it. It's like,
yeah, why wouldn't you? Doesn't make any
yeah,
sense to me.
what the fuck,
Uh,
Nintendo?
all right. So really good condition Switch came with 9 games, one of which I already sold, Mario Kart 8, because we already own it. But I'm gonna sell 5, keep 4, and I got it for 175 bucks. And I'm gonna end
With
up getting
9
about
games?
with 9 games. So I'm gonna end
God
up
damn.
getting, yeah, like 130 to 150 from selling the games. Like I got 40 some odd dollars from Mario Kart 8. It had, so those are the games that I'm
You got
keeping. The games
$40 for Mario Kart 8? That's like a 4-year-old game.
something like that. No, Nintendo
Jesus
games
Christ.
hold their, yeah, Nintendo games hold their profit. But it had Pokken Tournament, which I'm getting rid of, Doom, which I'm getting rid of. Those are both like $40 games. Wolfenstein 2, which apparently is a good game, but not
Doom
for
is a
my
good
kiddo.
game, man. Doom is a real
Yeah.
good game.
Yeah, and Dragon Ball 2 is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Those are the ones that I'm selling.
Mm.
The ones that we're keeping, Lego City Undercover, of
Mhm.
course, perfect for a 5-year-old. Super
Doom is
Bomberman
perfect
R.
for a 5-year-old. Zombie apocalypse comes, and you're gonna want your kid prepared. And
Yeah, right?
Lego fucking Jerk Off Chronicles is not going to prepare him for the zombie apocalypse. Doom, however, is.
Son, you just gotta kill the motherfuckers. Come on. Just fucking
Rip and tear.
wow, wow. Uh, so Super Bomberman R, which is not the best game, but could be fun for a kid. Crash, the Insane Trilogy,
Oh, that's a
and
good one.
Zelda Skyward Sword, which I didn't own yet,
Oh,
actually.
nice.
Yeah, so those are the games we're keeping. So 4 games and a Switch Lite, I'll probably end up paying about 30 bucks after
That's
I sell the
awesome.
other stuff. I'm like, score. Just requires a little legwork, you know. Pretty stoked about that. So that's basically my only
I
pickup.
played a
I haven't
lot
got
of Skyward Sword. I hated that game when it originally came out. Like I
well
bought it
because
when it
it's all
originally came
motion
out.
controls.
I hated it. But I played a bunch of it on the Switch, and I meant to finish it, but I, got distracted by another game. Sure.
Oh, yeah. I haven't played it. I haven't played the new Link's Awakening either, even though we own it. It's still
Yeah,
sealed. Yeah.
that
I
game
didn't love
is really fun. Link's
yeah.
Awakening is. Yeah.
Have they patched it yet? Is it still like super janky on the
It's
Switch?
got some frame rate issues, mainly when you like move from one screen to another screen. But man, it
Mm,
looks like you're playing with toys. Like it's
yeah.
got that like what do they call it, tilt shift look to it. That
I
it's
love that
really
aesthetic.
charming, and it's a really fun Zelda game. I really liked it. It was one of my
Mm,
games of the year. The year it came out. Did that come out in 2019?
yeah, it was a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, we do on side quest. We do like a games of the year, like top 5 game of the year,
Mm,
and we do it individually. And it was like my top 3 for sure. It was a really good game.
nice. Nice. Is it frustrating the way that Link to the Past is?
No, it looks a lot like Link to the Past, but the format of it is very different. There was one part where I got frustrated because, like, I can't remember the exact details, but I had to like go to like a certain person in the town to find a letter, and there was like no contextual clue that I had to do that. But
Yeah.
I spent 10 minutes fucking around and like, okay, walk through. What do I need to do here?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like found out, and then continued on my merry way.
I was
I really liked it.
amazed at that's awesome. I was amazed at how much just hidden shit that was integral to the game was in Link to the Past. Like so much stuff if you don't have the right tool, if you don't go to the right place, like just like ugh,
I
it's
really
crazy.
think that some of that was really just designed to sell Nintendo powers. Like, I really do. Like,
Interesting. I mean,
it was an excuse to have, like, basically, like, moon puzzles in your game. Although all games were doing that at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like, hey, this game can't be too easy because we have 16 megabits to work with, or 8 or 4, right? But, like, this kid's going to buy this game, and it's going to be his only game for 6 months to a year. So, like, it has to take some time, and maybe that time is him just banging his head, putting bombs in front of every fucking wall in Hyrule until he figures it out, you know?
Figure it out!
That's what games were back in the day, I guess. You know, they also had that Nintendo Power Hotline that they were charging $18 per minute for.
Yep. I bet you there is some of that. It'd be interesting to have a conversation with some of those, or like be a fly on the wall, during that stuff.
Yeah, right?
I got an idea.
I think a lot of the reason those games were so difficult was because it was going to be their only game, right? And like, if Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was easy, you'd blow through that game in half an hour and be like, "Fuck!" Like, I liked it, but I'm not going to like it for the next 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
There's not a lot of secrets and stuff in that game for sure.
No, but they were hard.
Mm-hmm. Analog Pocket winner.
Yes. Who won? It was me, wasn't it? Come on. Come on.
It was not Briar.
Oh, man.
Their name is the Kiko XP.
Kiko?
On Twitter. The Kiko. I imagine it's Kiko.
Nice.
Because the other version of that would be mildly offensive.
Okay.
if it was
how do they claim the prize? Do they just gotta email you, or?
I will email them. But if you hear this and you want to reach out, I'll just need like your name and shipping information. But obviously not getting it for a while. I realized halfway through this month, I was like, I should have just made the giveaway go through November. What was I thinking?
So you can actually ship it out with
like,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to be waiting a month and a half at the earliest. So
that's cool, though.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's really excited right now.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't claim the prize, though, I think I should win because I put in the most entries.
I'm sure that they'll respond, but yeah. I'm hoping that people that want one can get one.
Yeah.
Right. That's the hope. Because I'm hoping it's an awesome piece of hardware. I'm very excited about it.
I'm hoping it's an awesome piece of hardware too. I'm hoping that there's more cores available for it pretty quickly, like for NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I forgot to talk about in the news section? Maybe I'll save it for next episode. Is that the PlayStation core is very much nearing completion. Which was really interesting.
For the
Mr.
analog stuff.
Sorry, Mr.
Oh, for the Mr. Okay.
Yeah, which is very closely related to analog.
Thanks again to everybody that entered the contest. Like, it's our first official one, celebrating a year, and probably have some more giveaway stuff in the future.
I got like bathwater coming to my ears, like
Briar bathwater. Is that? I feel like it would be like an au jus.
Just brown. It's like a beer bottle swimming in it.
Yeah, just ship people bottles of beer and say it's bathwater. It's fine.
That's good.
Put a new label on it.
Briar au jus.
Oh God. Marinade. Briar marinade. You want to know what we're playing next episode?
Yeah, what are we playing next episode? Make it a good one. Come on, make it awesome. What's it gonna be? High hopes. High hopes. High hopes.
Buh.
Do it.
Buh. Bionic Commando.
Oh, fuck yeah. I love that game. Yes. We haven't done that game yet? I'm so surprised.
No, we haven't.
Oh, man. I love that game.
I have to admit, right before the show, I was like, "Oh shit!" And I like ran. It was like literally the episode was live. I was like, "I forgot to pick a game," and I just go over to my shelf and I'm like, "Bionic Commando would be a fun one to play." I don't think I've ever beat it. Like I've
Oh,
played
man.
it quite a bit as a kid.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think that might be one of the first games I ever beat when I was a kid on the NES.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It was my favorite game as a kid. No, it's not that long.
Like the number one game for you?
It might be the first game I ever beat as a kid.
Is it like Contra difficult or is it more like Metroid difficult? Like, because there's no save points, right?
I
Like
don't
there's like
know.
continues lives and stuff.
Yeah, there's continues in lives and stuff. I don't remember. It's not that difficult. Like you can. I think the hardest thing is just there's like a map, and you just got to know where to go on the map. Probably a Google search away.
We're gonna have some Go-Go Gadget arm.
It is so fun. And then
Yeah.
they have the Rearmed series too that are modern Bionic Commando games. They're fun too. There's a Game Boy game. There's 2 Game Boy games. One of them is good. The other one sucks.
I have the good one.
Yeah, I have the good one too, but it's a broken cartridge. Wah, wah.
Literally have I have the Game Boy game right here.
Yeah, that's a good one. How much is the price on that? Oh, you covered it up on purpose.
It says 45, but these are going for like 70 to 80, I think.
I have one, but it's broken.
Crazy.
I tried to fix it.
How broken?
It won't boot.
And you've tried cleaning it and all that?
I've tried cleaning it. I have not looked at it, like, to see if there's something I could solder.
Yeah, I was like, you could probably figure out what lines are not working if you have like one of those tester things and potentially re-solder stuff.
Yeah, that would be good because I love Bionic Commando. I'm excited, man. Bionic Commando next week. I love this game. And I know I love this game because I have loved it for a long time.
When was the last time you played it?
Sometime in 2019.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need a list of stuff you've played recently.
Why?
I don't know. For me, a lot of this stuff is new. So
yeah.
Or
well,
newer.
I'm old. I was around when this stuff was new.
Yeah, I feel like you probably remember stuff better when you were a kid. Because when I was a kid playing these games, I was young, like under 10.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff just, played it for like an hour or two and don't play it again. It's like you remember enjoying it, but you don't remember much about it specifically. So
Yeah. All right, I think that should wrap it up. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Bionic Commando. Jay, what are you up to for the next couple of weeks here?
Destiny, retro games. Trying to think what's 2 weeks from now. Middle of February, just middle of November. Waiting for the Analog Pocket. And then it'll be Thanksgiving after our next episode? But you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube at JSniperton. We do play a lot of Destiny on stream, but we're just chilling, chatting. If you ever want to talk retro games, feel free. We stream 5 nights a week in the middle of the night, probably when you're asleep, unless you're overseas. So, yeah. How about you, Briar?
I don't know what I'm up to. I'll just play it by ear.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Playing
some Bionic Commando, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Bottling up bathwater. I'm gonna do it real classy. I'm gonna do like gallon jugs, so you get a lot for your money.
Oh man, I'm thinking of like the people put like their old oil.
Yeah.
Like when they're done with their oil, they're putting it in the gallon milk containers.
That's got to be illegal to ship fucking motor oil, right?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
In a gallon jug with the cap.
You can't even throw it away. Oh, just go to Costco, get the gallons of barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
soy sauce from Costco.
Don't say barbecue sauce while it's around.
Oh, why? Oh no,
She'll threaten to eat me again.
If you like it or hate it, I don't know.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thank you all for joining us. Have an awesome week. I'll see you on Thursday for DCP. Bye.